Hello, my name is John Sveck. Welcome to this All 24 video. Coach Waterman and I are here today with Coach Gichard. Coach, really excited to have you on.
It's great to be doing this. It's awesome that you guys are doing this for the football community in Canada. It's great.
Could I get you to give just a brief coaching bio? Tell the folks where you're coaching at.
Yeah, sure. So currently I'm coaching with the Niagara Spears at Niagara at the Bantam level. My son's playing at that level this year. I've coached the seniors and the juniors as well. Came up through the ranks of high school, through St. Catharines and Governor Simcoe, Centennial and Welland, Lakeshore in Port Colborne a little bit, and then coached the season out in Woodstock. And I kind of came up the ranks the hard way. I didn't go to university. I had that opportunity, and I chose another path academically, and just went right into coaching. So a lot of the stuff that I kind of learned was kind of unconventional. And then I was lucky when I went to the Spears with the OVFL to really get into some real quality mentors football-wise and really explode. So this play, actually, I've been running for probably about 20 years. And I wasn't surprised. I didn't get any nibbles from some of the other guys. It was kind of unconventional in some ways. And that's quite frankly why it works. I've coached little guys at the type level all the way up to all-star games. And I just love the sport. It's done a lot for me, and it's great that we have this opportunity. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Definitely a great game. And that's what it's all about, is coaches that just have a passion for it and just grow in the game. That's what we're all trying to do, no matter what level. So keep it going, man. Keep it going.
Great. Thanks.
Awesome. I want to get right into this segment. So this is something we've done a couple times now. It's called What Would You Call? So we went into our Facebook group where we're having, again, some great football conversations. A lot of people are really engaged in there and talking some great football. We put out a scenario and we just asked, what would you call in this situation? So for this one, it was a little more generic. We said it was midway through the second quarter. You had your opponent in a second and long situation. And you just felt like it was time to dial up some pressure, right? We wanted folks to just write in and get some pressure going. I really enjoyed watching this, going through this play when you put it up, Coach, and I really liked it because of the different variations you talked about. So I'll give you the floor here, and if you want to just kind of break this down for us a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So I took that scenario as we needed a momentum shift, and this is something that I go to a couple times in a game. I don't do it a lot. Might even go a game or two where I don't call it. We call this our lightning package, and for obvious reasons, the shortest point is A to B is the straight line, and you want to put quick pressure on the play, and you want to shift momentum, maybe going into the locker room, and maybe give the opponent something to really think about. So usually as a DC, when I'm calling, I tend to sit back, and we tend to be more reactive and learn and bend at first, and then really shut people down once we get a rhythm of an offense. Whereas this is the opposite of that. So it also takes just naturally it does that. So what we do here is it's more of a concept than just a blitz. Usually the offense overwhelms you at point of attack. They're always the ones taking it to you. And then this time, instead of a +1, a lot of guys would do, we go to a +2 at a guy that usually doesn't see it, and that's the center. And with guys that he doesn't normally see, with speed he doesn't see. So right away when we coach it to the kids, the expectation when we do this in practice is that it's always successful. So when this call comes in, the expectation of the defense is increased, and we give instant feedback in practice when not, maybe it's some push-ups, maybe it's some running through some stuff. But the kids understand like this system here, this lightning blitz is actually it's more than just a blitz. It's an actual system. So the kids know that it's a game changer. That's the expectation. When this comes in, they know that a sack, a pick, or a fumble is the expectation of this package. So what's really key here is the tackles. And it doesn't really matter kind of what alignment. You can run this from any D formation you want, but what's really key is where the arrows are for the end pass. So you've got the ends, the end and the rush. Make sure they end up outside the tackles and that 5. You can start them inside if you want to. A lot of times they do. The tackles usually start from a 1 tech. You could start them heads up. You could start them at 3 if you wanted. But I find where it works really good is that I get the whole D line doing slants to the outside. And you really want those tackles, the D tackle and the nose, working from that 1 to 3, attacking that outside shoulder. And it just peels those guards beautifully. And especially if we haven't been doing it a lot, they're not ready for it, and you got to be fast. So those tackles right away, and as we get our safety and our Mac just to run right over them if they're too slow in practice. So they really get that instilled that they got to move right and attack that outside play shoulder of the guard. And then the Mac is always strong A, and the safety is always weak A gap. And the nice thing is the safety is usually a speed player, so he hits that. He comes from depth, but we work on our timing, and we like to hit it right at the snap of the ball. And you're just boom, you're right in the backfield. And that center basically is just coming out of that stance. That's the expectation. As soon as that center is lifting his head, we're already in the neutral zone. And so usually what happens is they guess, and he usually takes the most dangerous man, depending what play side it is. Maybe it's the Mac because he's used to taking them. And we find our safety is usually the guy that makes the play here. We put pressure. I like this play because right off the hop, it forces transition and wrecks that timing, right? So if you've got a 2nd and 5, it's a dangerous play at that part of the field because, you might have an OC that wants to take a shot or play it safe. And so you're looking at either possession pass, taking a big stab or running off tackle or something, or nice safe run. And I find this really pressures it. So once those guys get into that backfield and that A gap, it's hugely disruptive. But one thing it does do, and this is why we amp up the pressure on the rest of the players, is it really puts everybody on an island. So they really have to understand their job. So I've drawn it up this way for basically cover 0. And we put everybody, you can stem it from cover 3 look, which is our base pack most of the time. You can walk guys down, you can play press off the line if you want. But what's really key though too is the tackles. Once the tackles get into that B gap, they got to get the shoulders north and really occupy that gap. So because the weakness in the run play of this is obviously off tackle, and there's no support there. So if the tackle doesn't make us play into that B gap, we're really in a bad way, and that's going to punch for a big run if that's the play that they've dialed in. And then obviously the pass play out of this, the 2 pass plays that really kill this, is either a swing or arrow or screen using the running back. So we usually spy with Will and let him move across the backside if he needs to. Sometimes we use the defensive end on the rush side if he swings out that way, depending on the athlete that we have. But that can present problems in this package. So we'll actually rep that in our D look so the kids understand what the weaknesses are. And then obviously if we have this, the no-brainer is to hit one of those slots in a quick slant or a quick post. So one of the variants we have is we actually rolled the boundary halfback into a cover 1 look, into that safety look, and we do it late. We stem it, and we actually get picks out of it, right? So it's a pretty versatile thing, and the guys that know me locally and know it's coming, or even in the province at different levels, they know I do this, and we still have success with it because, again, it's not really a normal thing that people see a lot of sometimes. So, and the kids, you know what? The kids really like this. They respond even from bantam all the way up to senior. They know this is a smash mouth technique. Obviously, the end's got to contain. They don't have any help. So if they're dialing up an outside bounce or something like that, or it's a search and the running back gets outside, we're in bad shape here. So they know that they have to go upfield and contain without help. So
that's phenomenal. I love how you talk about it, and I can see that when you emphasize something like this and put that much again emphasis on this is our change of momentum kind of play, and you really get the kids to buy in. I can see how that would be a lot of fun for the kids.
Yeah,
yeah.
Go ahead, Coach. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I was just going to ask you, how excited do the players get when they know this is called and it's coming? They must be pretty excited.
Well, because we build it up in practice so much,
right,
and that expectation is there, and the safety. The nice thing too is what happens here is all 4 guys that don't usually kind of the Mac and the tackles are always talking, right? But now you get the safety down in the middle of the box talking to the guys, and it just perks the interest. It gets the kids kind of talking more and tendencies, and they start to bait players, and they learn what they can sell it, how they can sell it more with the guy in front of them, the game within the game kind of thing. And 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 it's just the bottom line is they actually get disappointed with themselves if nothing comes from this, right? So
Yeah.
We especially like this too in a rain game, or if we notice that there's a bad snap or transition between the center and the quarterback, things like that, you know, like, because we can force that timing again, right? So you know, again, you're going +2 at a guy that doesn't usually see it a lot, unless it's usually a D tackle, it's not a guy at speed. And then also too, you're really pressuring that ball. So if that Q wants to have a read and a throw, you're in his face right away, right? So if you get caught in the wash here, if the Mac and the safety get stuck, you're dead in the water, right? So a good center will just make a mess, you know, and just cut everybody. So we work a lot. Once this is introduced, we'll work with those guys. We'll take those 4 guys and start doing some cut defense, you know, protect their knees and how to get over it and things like that too, right? So, and the other thing we do too, we really play with this, that once we've done it a couple times, or it's a rainy game, or we've had some success, we'll actually we have a show call, and we'll show it. And then we back off and then don't do it. And we've got another call in, right? So just to mess with the timing of it, right? So it's a lot of fun, actually. I like calling this, and like I say, you can't go to this more than a handful of times a game, because eventually they'll bite you, right? Because they'll bring a guy in, they'll walk some teams have tried to walk in one of the slots as an H and then run off tackle power on us, and that's where it's really weak, right? So, but that's good.
Yeah, you know, I had a list of questions for you, but your explanation was so thorough, Coach. I think you covered most of it, how you practice it and what hurts it, and you know, that's phenomenal. Anything to add, Coach Waterman?
No, I would echo that. It did a great job at explaining it. You can tell that you believe in your play, and you've had some success with it. And as you said, you've been running for a while and do a great job teaching it, and that's a big part of it. So well done.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Coming for you guys, that's a huge compliment. I appreciate that.
No, it's great. I really appreciate having you on. It's been good talking a little ball here.
Great. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.